as you know, we are facing a looming government shutdown. So how does the fight to fund the government affect this whole conversation when it comes to funding the border and pushing for that new technology?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that I can tell you at least that I've done on my part. I introduced the bipartisan Joint Task Force for Opioid Trafficking Act. That improves border security operations to detect, disrupt, and prevent illicit narcotics. I've got Republican support on that, so I'm hoping that Speaker McCarthy and other Republicans can take that up, all while chewing gum and trying to pass important appropriations bills. I'm also a member of the partisan Fentanyl caucus, and I've co-sponsored another piece of legislation called the Combating Illicit Xylazine Act, which is an additive that's being added to fentanyl that I also hope passes through Congress. And so the administration wants to do what it can, and it's actually requested a supplemental appropriations package to be able to tackle the fentanyl crisis. So I'm really hopeful that Republicans, and in particular Speaker McCarthy, will come to the table and work with Republicans to address this issue. Because I think the pain that families are feeling, the pain that communities like mine are feeling, are going to go unaddressed if we continue to make this a political issue. This is a crisis that requires bipartisanship. And so as we're going through, for example, the Defense Appropriations Bill or the Homeland Security Appropriations Bill, that some of these important pieces of legislation that I've either introduced or co-sponsored are included in this package because they have bipartisan support, and that they also pay attention to what the administration is trying to do in supporting this effort. That's incredibly important. We got to work together on this. We got to put politics aside. We got to solve this crisis that's affecting so many people. I mean, over 150 people are suffering from fentanyl overdoses in this country every day. That's unacceptable. We got to work together.
So shifting gears a little bit to focus in on what the Biden administration has been doing as it pertains to the border. And when you were drafting this proposal, what did you find that you really liked about the Biden administration's policies? And is there anywhere where you actually disagree with the way that Biden and Mayorkas have been handling the border?
Well, look, that's a big question. And as somebody that grew up again, the other side of the border, somebody who's well positioned to inform my fellow Democratic colleagues on border policy, there is so much that we need to do to fix the immigration crisis in this country. However, there are solutions that work, that have worked for many years, that we can continue to support. But there's also critical reforms, especially when it comes to technology and border security. What I hear from Border Patrol agents on the ground who are manning the line is that they need more technology. That's why I'm requesting over $10 million in ASTs. They are essentially using AI technology, autonomous towers that help detect people who are coming across the border to be able to better serve Border Patrol. That's something I strongly support. I think this administration has done the best job it could with the tools that it has, but ultimately it is up to Congress to solve this situation. Republicans had a chance over a decade ago to solve so many of these issues that we're facing today. And even though we had a Senate bill that passed in the Senate that was a bipartisan immigration reform bill, the largest that we've ever seen since the Reagan era, Republicans killed it in the House. And so if we want to get serious about immigration reform and how to solve the crisis that's happening at the border, I think Republicans have to be willing to work with Democrats on a solution that actually solves some of these crises. But it all comes down to funding and support, both for border security, but also for our immigration judges, for our immigration system. People need to be processed in an orderly way, in a humane way. And I think we can do that. But it would take away talking points for Republicans in the next campaign cycle if we actually got anything accomplished. And that is the most frustrating thing of being a representative on the border, is having the solutions, having the support, but having a Speaker of the House and an extreme right-wing Freedom Caucus that just won't work with us on this stuff.